sounding. And judging by the anticipated sway from saxophonist number one, we're in for a good time tonight. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Les Audiophiles. The chess is on. My name is Jean. His name is Andy. Now, Mr. Wu, he's got a laundry kind of tricky. He'll starch my shirts and collars, but he'll never touch my waistcoat. Mr. Wu, what shall I do? I'm feeling kind of Limehouse Chinese laundry blues. More on that later. But first, right on. But first, we have a tune to listen to from Brother Andy. What have you got for us today?
Well, I'd like you to check out a band called Nebula Sun. They've recently come on my radar over the last couple months. Really enjoyed this track. I'm itching to hear what you have to say about it. It is a track called The Ocean. So there you have it, Nebula Sun, The Ocean. Please go off, check out the link that I provided you. It is a live performance from the band's YouTube channel that they are gracious enough to let others use. So we shouldn't run into any snags there, but check it out and let me know what you think.
Can do, will do. Interesting. So, starts with the shot there. It looks like, this is proof of life video or something. It's really dingy. It looks like they're being held in a basement. Yeah. And then it starts. And, man on the guitar. It's got that really nice, relaxed, almost bagginess to the strings. It feels like it's well worn in, but it's comfortable. And he's going there, and then we get this kind of standard. The rhythm section comes in. It's what I call sort of like plod and shuffle. It's really simple, and it just keeps things going. And then we go this round here, and there's some interesting outfits. Yeah. And then your man starts singing, and it's kind of like 2-syllable bits he's doing. I managed to get, because it's quite slow as well, so I could write it down. This is my guess, what he just said. Nature's collage, faces unmasked, 2 lips too close, no words, no, and then I started to lose it there. I couldn't understand what he said. But yeah, he's got a nice voice. Again, it's exactly what you expect looking at this bunch. It's got its basis in that sort of 70s rock, which has then been revived a number of times. I remember when Mother Earth went from acid jazz into that sort of 70s rock sort of sound, like Jesse and stuff like that. It's really nice. Yeah. So it's very pleasant. But yeah, seems cool. Let's see how it goes. See if they escape the basement.
Come close, come near. This light we fear. Make love, drink tea.
things to note there. One, your man, sax number 2, I'll call him, particularly. I mean, both of them have got beautiful robes. But he's just come fresh from a matinee performance of Joseph, hasn't he? He really has. Wonderful, wonderful. I love the sound of the sax there. Quite often when you get them coming in, it's, you know, a lot of stuff I listen to is quite punchy, the sax, and it adds this vitality to it, and it's often sort of like a mirroring of vocal melody stuff like this. Here, there's these long, languid notes that are kind of almost lazily rolled out, so it gives this idea of expanse, which, given the title, Oceans, you know, yeah, makes sense. It just sounds really nice with the overall vibe of this. It fits in perfectly. Um, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
You shed your skin, endless rewind, no thoughts, no mind. This life is told, futures unknown. Come close, come near, into the world we belong in.
So that was a really weird break there, sort of almost jazzy in a way, which is, you know, strange. And then this stuff came across the screen. I thought for a minute it was a sort of, you know, kicked on the smoke machine, but it's no, it's an ocean waves superimposed. But don't know, the way it has that same sort of feel as if you know, those 60s stuff that they put in smoke, or the lava lamp sort of you know, sort of hot wax projected through, that sort of effect. It has a bit of hippiness to it, which I quite enjoy. And a little bit of amateurishness to it as well. But it really is endearing. I just wanted to mention as well, the drummer's doing a really nice job. He's keeping it fairly simple. He did add some like splashes and stuff in it. He's got a very simple kit, but it's very effective without being showy, and I appreciate that in a drummer.
If life is a straw, and love is the ocean, oh yeah,
Sax is now playing the main melody. Nice.
boundless or deep. You shed your skin, endless rewind.
Nice, nice. I enjoyed that. That was fun, actually. It won me over the more it went on. It was more and more charming. I do think they look like they've just come from a sort of amateur production on the green of Godspell. Uh, I think it's because the bass player was wearing almost like flesh-colored trousers, but it did look like he's ready to go straight into the pool. Yeah, it looked odd, and some of the moves he made at the end was just looked really awkward. But he's enjoying himself, so yeah, I really enjoyed this. There's little elements of like chattiness just came into it, but overall a really nice sort of feel to it. There's nothing that's going to blow you away, but I think it just gets under your skin a little bit and just ingratiates itself with you. Yeah, it was a good one. This we must find out more. Let's go back and let's chop it up with Andy.
All right, so you're back at port on dry land again. What did you make of The Ocean by Nebula Sun?
Interestingly enough, there is a band called Nebula. No, son. Are you aware of this band?
No, it's so generic enough, the name, that it sounds like I could have heard it before, but I can't, with any firm recollection, be like, oh yes, I know of them.
Yeah, no, I was just I was debating whether to give you a song by them or not. So it's just really interesting that up props Nebula Sun or Son of Nebula, as I will call them from now on. Um, Now, if it wasn't for the info on the post, on the link saying April 2025, you could easily mistake this for April 1972. Um, it starts with this sort of fisheye group of the gang who seem to have just raided Frank Zappa's dressing up box. Um, and it did pop into my head that in the few seconds when the camera's slowly moving before they actually start, they're just standing there a kind of open mouth a little bit that this was perhaps a proof of life video for a hostage situation. When they were in the basement, it's a bit dingy.
It
Yeah,
reminds me of a much more like rudimentary version of the Vessels the Trap
yeah,
video,
yeah, yeah,
and the way it was shot in that
yeah.
circular motion. It looks like the high school production team version of that.
It
So I thought
does.
that might jump out at you as well.
It does because there's a bit when the camera zooms in and out. And it's clearly someone with a thumb on a button.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
a
There's also
really,
this one herky jerky part where it's like it jumps all the way to the bass player really quickly. That just made me laugh as well. I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
uh, keep
But
working on it, kid.
it has its charm, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
So with the song begins with the guitar in isolation, and it has that lovely sort of relaxed sound to it, like the strings are almost slightly baggy. I know it just feels comfortable and really nice sounding.
Mhm.
And judging by the anticipatory sway from saxophonist number one, we're in for a good time tonight. Or perhaps his Benzodrine has kicked in and he's marching to his own beat. Hopefully not, because that's not ideal in a live performance scenario. So anyway, in comes the rhythm section with that classic plod and shuffle approach. The kind of like stewards at a festival herding the ambulatory masses, probably towards the latrines. Your man starts singing, um, but he's determined to pace himself. There's a strict two-syllable per utterance policy going on here in his opening
Yes.
gambit, and he does have that really pleasant voice, as you'd expect, and it's totally appropriate to the sort of setting and the song.
Yeah.
I sort of tracked it down, and I'm guessing, but I've got most of it. I think it says nature's collage, face unmasked, two lips too close. I think that's TOO. No words, no come close, and then I started to lose it. A bit
Well,
like a sort of old AM signal.
if it makes you feel any
Um,
better, I found jack shit on the lyrics, so I had to do much what you had to do. And we've got some areas where we've matched up, and others where I caught a
yeah.
different word than you. But we'll go over it when I get to the lyrics. But that's just funny.
No, yeah. It's interesting because he's really super clear in some bits. But
Yeah,
it's like an old AM radio signal. The coherent sort of wavers, like we've
yes,
just driven under a bridge or something.
yeah.
And then back comes, and he got this bit: make love, drink tea. Which, if you think of doing simultaneously, from my experience, you'll need a specialist tea cozy. Lapsang souchong, indeed. All the while, the camera, as we say, is gently turning, giving this full circle of this intimate and slightly dingy performance. But again, I think it does add to the charm. So enter the two sax blowers, both resplendent in robes, fresh from a matinee performance of Joseph, I believe. It's hilarious. The two worst fucking wizards in the world. Anyway, their contributions are they sort of like languid notes, sort of unrolling in a lazy and hurried manner, which, given the title of this, I really like the effect of. I think I said in the reaction that quite often a lot of the music I listen to, in comes the horns or the saxes, and they're usually quite punchy. And quite often they're either mimicking or responding to the vocal line, the vocal melody. You get this pep to it. And with this, though, this is this long notes that are just stretching out. And it gives this idea of an expanse or whatever. And also during this, we're getting extra splashes from the drummer, which I like from a aquatic perspective to get little splashes in. It's good.
Yeah.
So we go back to another verse and then back to the 2 beat meter. At this time, gently the saxophones join, and again, these long notes and this expanse and scale. And then there's this it's quite jazzy little sort of break. And then they go back into the similar pattern, this time with added sort of wave footage superimposed. I mean, at first, I thought it was like, some bad dry ice coming across, and then I realized what it was. It kind of hammers home the title of the song in a very unsubtle way, but it also adds this sort of swirling, nebulous feel to the vibe, given their name. The same effect as you get from like lots of smoke from hundreds of joss sticks, or the old sort of lava lamp stuff where they used to project through it onto the back when bands performing in the 60s. I fucking love that shit. But yeah, so it's a really nice vibe to it, and it gives us this sort of mystical edge to it. The sax join in again, and I hear the word "the ocean" from the singer, and he starts to vocalize. We get another break, and then we get back to the main theme, but this time the saxophones are sort of cheerleading the melody rather than the guitars, which again is a really nice touch. There's another verse with more 2-bit info. And then they go kind of full tilt boogie for the last minute or so, including some rather awkward moves from the bass player. I mean, it just looks really bad. But anyway, and then it finishes. So it's really interesting overall sound. It had some of that sort of 1970s sort of rocky type stuff, which I really like. I said I've had a fondness for it, probably because it was on the radio growing up. But so, that childhood stuff. But I really like that because there's almost a purity to it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a guy just singing and, there's no side or front to it. But also there's some jazz tendencies mixed in with this. And the overall sound of it, I think is great. So really intrigued by this band. I mean, I take it from the times the date stamp, sorry, on they're a newish band. But I wouldn't say that I was like overblown by the song at all. I really liked it and enjoyed it. But I just think there's a nice sound there, and I think it was worth listening to other stuff of theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm quite intrigued.
Excellent, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it as much as you did. I too have been kind of wooed by it and their sound. Again, to echo what you said, this isn't, what they're pulling from and even what they're creating organically on their own is nothing that's different from much of what I've heard before from other acts and genres, but they're doing it really fucking well and they sound really good doing it. So all the more reason for me to check them out. So I've clearly spent the last couple months listening to this track and some of their other stuff a lot since they sort of fell into my lap. And yes, you referenced Frank Zappa. I was going to say it looks like they raided the closet of Nathan Lane's character in what is that the Birdcage film where they're all down in Florida. Yeah. So very very funny and campy look they've got going on there. So yeah, Nebula Sun. They're a band actually from your neck of the woods, Norwich, UK. Known for their blend of
Really?
Yes, really.
Wow.
I know. I know. I was a bit surprised
Oh,
myself. I'd pegged them for Americans, but go on.
so yeah, I completely. The one thing I forgot to say as well. So when I was singing at the end, I was saying that the cast of the band, they look like they've just come fresh from casting of Godspell,
Yeah.
apart from the bass player, which unfortunately because of his trousers are almost flesh colored, it makes it look like he's got his singlet. He's ready. He's ready for the swimming pool. I mean,
Yeah,
he's just like he's going to
exactly.
jump in any second. It's so
Yeah.
funny. But
Yes.
anyway, I'm blown away they're from Norwich. But
Yeah.
we talked off camera about a band called The Darkness. I believe I
Mm,
think all the
yeah.
they're from Norwich as well. So
Oh,
in a
okay.
way, it fits.
Okay, there you go then. So yeah, they're known for their blend of progressive and psychedelic rock, along with obviously, as you were quick to point out, strong jazz fusion elements as
Yeah,
well. Interesting little cocktail there they've got going. The band consists of Tommy Johnson on vocals and guitar, Aslan King on drums, and Paul Taylor on bass. They also occasionally collaborate with other musicians, including saxophonist Rob Milne or Milne, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, and David Boyce, as seen and heard on this video and track. The band was formed in 2014 by brothers Tommy on vocals and guitar and Azzy on drums. They met Dave on sax and started jamming together with their first bassist, Alex. Paul joined later when Alex moved away from the area. At this point, the band was called King Kowanda and was very Afrobeat influenced, but with a mix of jazz, folk, and dub. The band, as it is today, was completed in late 2017 when they met Rob, who had moved back to Norwich after having studied jazz in London. He added a second sax to create an unusual two tenor horn section and brought some jazz influence to the band, obviously. And they changed their name shortly afterwards because, according to them, no one could spell King Kawanda or pronounce it correctly. And so they became Nebula Sun. Also, obviously, a pretty obvious like sound shift and influence from this Afrobeat dub stuff to prog jazz kind of psychedelic shit that they've
yeah,
got going on in this iteration of the band. So perhaps a name change was due. So yes, Nebula Sun's discography includes the albums Through the Surface, which was released in 2019. Then there was a bit of a break there before they released Breathe into Form, which was released in 2025, this year of our Lord. So the track we listened to today was released as a single and later would feature on the aforementioned newly released Breathe into Form, which actually dropped in May 23rd. So we're just a couple weeks out from that. So yeah. As I mentioned, this came out as a single, so I was introduced to this a bit, ahead of the actual proper release of the album since it came out as a single. But it definitely was all it took to kind of spark my interest and had me look forward to the release of Breathe into Form. Jacobo Vichesi, I hope I pronounced that right, of Progressive Rock Journal, sat down with the band and discussed the release of their latest album and asked that the band ask what the band's approach was. So please indulge me while I read an excerpt from that interview. What had you chuckling
sorry.
there?
Just before that, I mean, Progressive Rock magazine. You got the journalists. They're up for an interview. They got a space. So who's the first guy in? Oh, his name is Ian Smith. And who's the next one? Oh, Jacoby. Oh yeah, okay. I wonder who's going to get the job for Progressive Rock magazine.
Yes, it was in fact Jacopo Vichesi,
Oh,
who
Jacobo.
who said who extrapolated from their interview from the band. This song represents not forgetting where you came from. Oceans was one of the songs that followed lockdown, which might explain sort of that lull in album releases. We were reunited and keen to expand on the sprinkles of the heavier sound which had begun pre-COVID. We have a love for heavier music from our own formative musical tastes and bands, so it felt natural to play. We approached the writing in a fairly typical way, with saxes layering over the established groove. It's a while ago now, but I don't recall us aiming for an alt rock or grunge feel. I remember the snare was turned off and quite loose initially, and which perhaps put us in that 90s slacker vibe. And the big guitars were something we were becoming interested in using more. It felt right, so we didn't question it any more than that. And according to Vichesi, who reviewed the album in a separate article for, again, Prog Rock Journal, Oceans, one of the singles used to introduce the album, ventures into more indie slash alternative rock territory with heavier moments and subtle grunge influences. With the addition of horns, the band returns to a more distinctive sound that builds up until the final crescendo. And he would add, Breathe into Form is highly recommended for fans of psych slash prog and jazz rock, an album that showcases technical mastery, musical exploration, and a distinctive style worth exploring thoroughly. Which it sounds kind of like what you want to do now that you've heard one song. You're like, I'd love to check out more by these guys. So there you have it. Eleanor Muscle of the Sound Review provided her insights on the band's latest output, writing, the second single release leading up to this album quickly became the most streamed song of Nebula Suns, and is no surprise why. With more of a rock-influenced sound, the track is carried by a metal-inspired sounding guitar part, vibrant bass, and a heavier drum beat. At 2:27, the vibe of the song changes to become softer with echoed vocal runs, making you really focus on the lyrics. A message about creating a new version of yourself to walk into an improved future. The track is positive and reflective. The vocals are performed with much more care and passion by lead vocalist Tommy Johnson. Who knew that distorted guitar and jazz could pair so well together? So, again, the lyrics. Couldn't find them, had to interpret them best I could. Let's see how we do. Here's my best attempt. Nature's cold eyes, although collage sounds pretty good too. Faces on Mars. Two lips, too close. No words, no clothes. Come close, come near. This touch we fear. Make love, drink tea, which probably should have been my first indicator that this was a British band. The idea of even pairing your tea drinking with
Of
making
course,
love.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Completely checks out. Of course, they're from Norwich. How some can't dream. So as you said, it's very the way it's broken up lyrically, it scans that way the whole way through. So we get our first bit of sax portion. Burn this body, you shed your skin. Endless rewind, new thoughts, new mind. This life, this toll, futures unknown. Come close, come in, into the world, love, yeah. Live life, it's a show. Live love, it's the ocean. Oh, 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 oh. More sax. Burn this body, you shed your skin. Endless rewind, new thoughts, new mind. This life, this toll, futures unknown. Come close, come in, into the world we love. Yeah. So yeah, I love this idea of sort of reinventing yourself or whatever, and the idea of the ocean. Because like if you buy into the theory of evolution, we all life came from the ocean. These celled organism, whether single or slightly more than one, all crawled up off the on the shores from the ocean. So here is this idea of like reemerging anew again, and I think that's kind of where they're taking the metaphor. So anyway, go on.
Yeah, all life apart from octopus, who came from meteorites.
Yeah, clearly, dude, clearly. Or some other vessel that probably passed the boys in failure when they were in another space song. Yeah, that they were the one going towards Earth was the pod with the octopi in it. Those things are fucking crazy, man. How intuitive and smart they are and problem solvers. And then you look at them and you're like, holy shit.
Definitely
Yeah.
aliens. Definitely
Yeah.
aliens.
Yeah. Every time I look at an octopus, I think of that quote about a camel is a horse assembled by committee or designed by committee, where it's like, how do we get this? How do we end up with this thing, this octopus? Look at it. 8 tentacles, weird fucking head, a beak, suction cups. But yeah, anyway, I digress. They are quite alien looking. But yeah, really interesting song, really positive kind of message of it being healthy to change and reinvent yourself in order to progress, and a really cool sound that does tap into these disparate genres and yet somehow quite seamlessly cobbles them together to create their own little niche and sound. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. I would definitely peep out that new album. And I might bring some of their stuff in the future if I can beat you to the punch. So, thank you so much, John, for giving this track by Nebula Sun a listen. I'm really stoked that you liked it. So thank you, sir.
My
Guys,
pleasure.
yes, of course. Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of Nebula Sun and this track, The Ocean. I'd be really intrigued to hear what you all have to say about it. Many of you guys out there in the listening audience and who are quick to comment, Harold from the beautiful Isles of the UK, tell us if you've run into these guys or heard of them. They're very new to me, only a couple months into this, and obviously pretty new to John too. I'm kind of jealous that you guys could probably go catch them play a pretty intimate live show over there somewhere, and I'll have to wait until they hit it big and are on some ridiculous tour. But I would love to see them at some point in the future. If any of you all do, please let me know how it is. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on the band, the song. And while we have your attention, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done any or all of those things. Helps us so much over here at the channel, and John and I really, really do appreciate it. So thank you all so much. And hopefully we will catch you on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.